However, before we get onto that, I'm also going to need to show you some tags that I don't want you to use anymore. This is mainly because these tags are used for one reason and one reason only, and that is to make your page look better. It has no influence on the structure of your page, and I'll show you some examples of this. So let's go back to our web page, and a common tag that was used many years ago to define the formatting of some text is the font tag. There we go, so it's just font, and then we can specify, for example, the size. There we go. Okay, and then let's quickly go back to Internet Explorer and we'll see how that looks. There we go. Okay, so we've used a font tag to define how our text looks on our page. If you remember, our aim is to use HTML to define the structure of the page, and to use Cascading Style Sheets to define how things look on the page. So because a font tag is used to define how it looks on a page, or how your text looks on a page, we're going to stop using it and we're going to use Cascading Style Sheets for that. Similarly, if we go back, other tags that we're no longer going to use are not only the font tag, but also the bold tag, which is just a B, and also the italic tag, for exactly the same reason as the font tag, in that the only reason they were introduced was to format the text. It doesn't actually add any structure to your page. Just to prove that they do still work, but they're frowned upon if you're going to be using Cascading Style Sheets. There we go. Okay, so we've made it bold and we've also made it italic. Other tags that you may well have been using, if all you've been using is HTML, is perhaps the table tag to format how perhaps your images and text look on the page. Now, the table tag was only really introduced to be able to display tabular data. So really this is anything that you would expect to find in perhaps an Excel spreadsheet. So if you're going to be displaying that kind of information, perhaps a train timetable, perhaps a calendar, perhaps some sort of statistics, so anything that you think would look good in a table, you can still use the table tag. However, just to lay out your page contents, we're going to use other methods rather than the table tag. We're also going to stop using some attributes concerned with the body tag. So for example, what we can do is we can add some tags to the body tag, things like background color, there we go, and we can make the whole page, I don't know, blue, or have a blue background color. And again, that still works. However, all this kind of formatting we're going to leave to the Cascading Style Sheets rather than to define it within our HTML page. Just to prove that it does still work, however we're not going to use it like that. There we go. Okay, so any attribute to do with the body tag we're going to completely get rid of. Finally, I don't want you to abuse the BR tag, and if you remember from any HTML that you've learnt, the BR tag is used to insert a line break. Here we go, so perhaps if we wanted to insert 2 line breaks, then previously we would have used BR. I'm going to show you different ways of being able to add spacing around our paragraph. So we're not just going to insert lots and lots of line breaks, we're going to define it perhaps in pixel size, how big the spacing is between different elements within our page. So we can use it to some extent, but we're not going to use it extensively to try and space out our text.